Welcome back to For the Mamas Collective Podcast, a space where we believe in the power of connection and shared experiences.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jaleesa. We're so thrilled to have you back for our ninth episode.
This podcast has been a dream for both of us because as moms, we know just how much connection, community, and a space to feel seen and heard really matter.
For the Mamas Collective is all about creating that space, a warm, welcoming environment where mothers from all walks of life can come together to share stories, explore the highs and lows, and celebrate the journey of motherhood.
And today's episode is one we're especially excited about because we're diving into a topic that's deeply personal for both of us: creativity and motherhood.
Yes, we're calling this episode Creative Motherhood, talking about how becoming a mom can fuel, but sometimes also stifle, creativity. And we'll explore ways to reclaim your creative outlets and passions, even in the midst of the chaos.
But before we dive in, let's do our rose and thorn check in, our little tradition where we share a high point, the rose, and a struggle, the thorn, from our week.
I love this part because it's such a real way to reflect on the journey. And let's be honest, motherhood is full of both.
Yes. Okay, so I'll go first.
Okay.
I have two. Ha,
Okay.
always. Two roses, that is.
Yeah.
So, one, and only because we were off for a week, so I don't
Yeah.
want to just kind of breeze over that. It was a beautiful week.
Yeah.
Um, but one rose, we got to witness a beautiful wedding ceremony between
Mm-hmm.
friends, family alike, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just the most beautiful display of love I've ever seen. And I like told the groom
Wow.
that. I was like, I don't know how many more people would be able to capture like love. You know what I mean? Like it was
Mhm.
tangible in the room. It was so beautiful.
Oh, I love
So
that.
that was one rose. Yeah. And then
Mm.
another rose, we got some nice weather here in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
So it was actually yesterday. It was like 68 and sunny, but
Wow.
what? Yes, the fam bam, we were in the streets all day. We went to the park, we went
Yeah.
out to lunch, and then we met another family for dinner. And so we played some games
Mm.
there and played outside and ate and had drinks. And it was just so nice to not be in the house on the weekend,
Mhm.
get some fresh air before we had to start all over again.
Yeah, I love
So,
that. That's
yeah,
nice.
so those were
Nice.
good. Enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thorn.
Yeah.
Thorny thorn thorn. So my thorn shouldn't be a thorn. Maybe, or maybe it's not a thorn to some people,
Mhm.
but I had to travel for work last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How did
hmm
that go?
I don't like traveling alone. And by
Okay.
alone, I mean without my core unit, right? I
Mhm.
just like everybody to be in the same place at one time.
Mhm.
And, kind of in the midst of everything that's going on in the media, I
Yeah.
get it. There's plane crashes every day. We don't always hear about it. Now it's huge, but like I already have travel anxiety. So
Mm.
leaving my core was hard.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't want to be there because of it.
Mhm.
Um, and then on top of it, like they had our days booked from like 7 a.m. until like 10, 11 o'clock at night every day.
Wow.
Every day. You want to talk about exhausted?
Right.
I was tired. I mean, it was some good stuff. I did enjoy it. I don't want to make it seem like I didn't,
Mhm.
but it was a little too much for me.
Yeah.
So it hanged me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's it. How
Whew.
about you?
Okay, some highs and some lows. Okay. You know what? My roles would be the same. Going on vacation and
Mm,
spending time with my girlfriends, just being in the sand and the sun and just being in Mother Nature. I mean, Jamaica is so beautiful. You just feel like this is where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be in this environment. So that was a great company that made it all the more amazing. And being in the ocean, fake snorkeled for the first time. I was like, I'm gonna just come out here and swim. Like, I don't need the face piece. And the dude was like, you want to see the fish? I'm like, all right. I just put it on my eyes and dip my head in a little bit because I'm not putting my whole head in the water. Not happening. But I was like, this is so cool. This is so amazing. So I had a lot of fun. I felt like being in the ocean and being in that environment was very healing and invigorating.
Mm.
And to the point of what our topic is today, right? I was feeling really stagnant in my creativity. So that's kind of given me some space to feel
Mm.
open um to revisiting some creative channels and opportunities and just some things I've been working on that I've kind of put on pause to wrap some other things up. So, that's I'll speak more on that later, but um those are yeah, that's my roles pretty much. Trying to think
No,
about
that's amazing. It's
yeah.
something about the sun. It's just
Mhm.
refreshing, but it has to be
Yes.
good sun. Because I'm sorry, I
Yes.
don't always want this Atlanta sun. I know you
Yeah.
about tired of the Chicago sun,
Oh
but that
yeah.
international sun with a little
Yeah.
bit of water in the background, it
Yeah.
hits different.
It hit that picturesque sun.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I only need to be out here for 5 minutes before I catch a tan." I want that kinda sun.
Hmm.
I want that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's a
that's
good one.
a little bit of the thorn is coming back.
Ah,
And not I was ready to see my family. I was ready for them to be there. That's what I was like, "If I could
right.
just have another week and they come in, that would be perfect." But then coming home and I'm just looking around like I got a million and one things to do. I didn't take the day off after traveling, so I worked
Oh,
2 full days. And I was like, "I'm not gonna ever do that again. I'm never gonna," because I couldn't get to anything. And then I'm like, I had to clean, I had to do that. I'm like, "Dang, I didn't wanna come into this, like, with a complaint," but I was complaining all week. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I was complaining. I was fighting for my life this week coming back after that beautiful experience. So,
right.
and it's like I just didn't have enough time, it felt like, to ease into life and back into motherhood and back into real life and so again just felt a little stifled, a little cluttered. For me, spring invigorates me, being an April baby. This is the
Oh
new
yeah.
year for me. March is the new year for me. So I'm just Saturday, all we did was clean and get the energy right in the house, open the windows. It was cold, but I'm like, I don't care. We gotta move this stagnant energy because everybody got a little funk to them. And I'm like, I'm trying to maintain what I gained from vacation.
Yes.
My cup was full when I hopped off that plane, and now it's like quickly draining. So I was like, let me cap this. So I did a little cleaning that helped a little bit, but the thorn really is just not having enough time, which means I don't have enough space to think and hold
Hmm.
on to the new appreciation for creative outlets that I gained being on vacation. Now I feel like the walls of that openness is closing in on me. I'm losing my access, so to speak.
I hear you. Okay, okay. So I know we're gonna get deeper in the conversation,
Yeah.
but that is the perfect segue into today's topic.
Mm-hmm.
So how motherhood impacts creativity. Because
Mm-hmm.
on one hand, right, it gives
Yep.
us a whole new perspective, right?
Yes. Yes.
We see the world differently, we experience emotions more deeply, and sometimes that can be such a creative spark.
Mhm. Yeah, right? Like me as a person, not really that creative before having kids. So yeah, like the kids are forced. You be like, "Mommy, can I paint?" Okay. I don't know what we paint, but all right. So yes, right? I feel like motherhood has cracked me open in that way. And then I wasn't expecting it. I mean, babysitting other people's kids is totally different than how you get opened up when you have your own. So
Yeah.
the depth of emotion, the love, even the exhaustion and the joy, right? It all fuels that part of self, that creative part in ways, I definitely never imagined. And I think about things differently now. And so when I get a chance to create and do fun things with them, it feels richer. It's kind of a more about them though, but it is
Hmm.
it is a nice way to experience the world through their playfulness and creativity.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree there. And it makes me think because I always make jokes. Maybe you've heard me say this,
Mm,
but I used to tell Trey as well. I'm like, look, when you become a parent, I tell everybody who's like
mm.
expecting for like the first time, I'm like, when you become a parent, like you get superpowers.
Yeah.
Like, you remember like we used to ask that and they'd be like, well, mom, do you have eyes in the back of your head? Like, how do you know what I'm doing? But like,
Mhm.
no, you get superpowers. And just this topic made me think about that. Like that really is just tapping into the creativity, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, it's not always just about like painting or writing or like art, like in its traditional form, but the
Mhm.
way we parent, like the way we problem solve. Because
Mm.
I don't know
Mhm.
if you've met a challenge like having to fix uh, anything, anything
Yeah.
that broke, whether they're a
Yeah.
toddler or what,
Oh, yeah.
Chase had a bagel a couple weeks ago and he cut it in half and the top half broke in half and he lost it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We had to repair the bagel
Yeah.
so that he could eat it because that was going to ruin his meal.
Yeah.
But that level of problem solving
Yeah.
where like that calls for creativity. So we're
Yeah.
like cream cheese and the bagel together and like putting cheese on it so it stays as one and
Yeah.
it's the whole thing. But there's that and it's like you have to sing songs to get them to eat, right?
Yeah.
To eat vegetables or
Mhm.
to like try new things and it forces you. And I think sometimes
Mhm.
if we're not paying attention, we can miss it.
Mhm.
We can miss it. Yeah. Trey used to always swear up and down he wasn't gonna talk in a baby voice. He wasn't gonna do silly things.
He the main
Listen,
one. Little mama.
yes. If you are around him and you see him and you hear him, oh, they do all types of things. He used to talk about me for being Dr. Seuss, girl. He's rhyming now too. I'm like, you
Uh-huh.
see? You see how your creative juices are flowing? That's what I'm gonna start
Yes.
saying.
Yes. Right. It's expression, right? We start to express differently. And like you said, your problem solving is different. You literally do have to get creative with kids because you can't just sit down and talk to them. They don't understand that language all the
Hmm.
time. You really have the creativity of a lie that you have to come up with so that your child
Of the
don't get,
truth we have to
oh my
stretch.
gosh. It's so crazy. The color that you have to add to the truth. Because if they
Yes.
know point blank, this don't work, unacceptable. Okay. Or elf on the shelf and all of this magic, right, that we have to
Hmm.
create in parenthood.
Yes.
And as beautiful as that is, um, it's to again, I'll state that it feels like so much of that is spent on them. But like at the end of the day, and we were just talking about Pinterest, right? Like at the end of the day, sometimes it's hard to think for self in a creative
Hmm.
way, right? And so, yes, creativity is everywhere in motherhood, even when we don't realize it. But, a lot of moms, even myself, I mean, y'all gonna definitely hear from me. I love being a mom, but I'm gonna be very honest about how I struggle in many ways to like this stuff sometimes. This
Um,
it's a hard hat to like to have to put on. I put it on because I'm gonna be that mama. But don't ask me if I like it, whether or not we just know the hat is on. But because I feel like, I've lost touch with parts of myself. And maybe some other moms feel
hmm.
that way too, especially to be creative. And I don't think I found my creative part. So I'm stuck because I don't think I found my creativity without motherhood. So I appreciate it and resent it sometimes at the same time. Because although I found it, I'm so exhausted. It's like knowing you have a treasure and you can't dive into it. It's you just looking at it. So there's exhaustion, there's lack of time, or even moments where you're just feeling uninspired. Like we're just in survival mode. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to keep everybody's schedule afloat and do this and do that and it's so tough. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I understand now why my parents really didn't make it to my things that I attempted to make it to do, like after
Hmm.
school activities and stuff. Because when you're done with work, that's not what you want to do. Now, granted, I'm gonna break that cycle because I'm doing it anyway. And I'm gonna do it with a smile
Yeah.
on my face. My kids will never know I don't want to be doing this right now. But that's hard for me to know that how am I going to hold all this and sit up here and write this book and write this other book and do this
Hmm.
other thing take on this other venture, right? So I don't know. I have appreciation and a little resentment in my bag.
Yeah. Well, I think you answered my question before
Oh,
I even had
uh
a
oh,
chance to ask it. So,
my
I mean,
bad.
we're on track. I was just gonna ask, do you feel like motherhood has
Yeah,
made it, you know, easier to be creative, or has it made it a little harder?
yeah, yeah,
But I think we got that.
yeah. It's both, right? It's
Yeah.
really both. So since I answered already, I'll shoot the question back over to you. How has it impacted your creativity?
So I think, like you said, so much of my creativity stems from being a mother.
Mhm.
Like I think I've always been creative. My mom likes to say that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's just because nobody in my family is really creative. So she kind of
Mhm.
admired the little bit that I did have. But
Yeah.
again, I've seen true creatives. That's not me. But what I can do is I can like bring or add joy to
Mhm.
anything. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think
Yes.
that's just like a creative part of my personality. Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's probably made it a little easier,
Mm.
because at this point in my journey with motherhood, I mean, again, it's Marquise is gonna be 20 this month. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yikes.
been doing this.
Yeah.
I've planned a lot of birthday parties.
Yeah.
We've celebrated a lot of holidays, and we've had a
Mhm.
lot of hard conversations. We've done a lot of school projects. Like there's
Yeah.
so many times that I've had to, put my cape on and save the day, and it came through my creativity that
Mhm.
now that I'm at a point where I can, it's Marquise is self-sufficient. Like Chase, yes, I'm
Mhm.
still working with him. Ari doesn't, really need me so much.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm at a place where I feel like I can start to do creative things for myself that I am
Mhm.
doing it. And I
Mhm.
say that because like we're settling into our home. We'll be here
Yeah.
in this house 3 years in April.
Nice.
Um, but we just started hosting around Christmas time. Like that was our
Mhm.
first time hosting, and now I'm excited about it. And so like I
Mm.
see something on this actually just happened this week, which is why I'm so
Mhm.
excited about this topic today. But I saw a picture and I just shot it to some of my girlfriends down here. And I was like, look, y'all, I want to do this. Like, who's in it? Everybody was like, oh my God, yes, Danielle, like you have the yard for it. And
Yeah.
it's literally just like an inflatable projector with like inflatable couches on the lawn.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just want to go have a movie night. And so it's in
Yes.
my Amazon cart, and like we're gonna do it. And
Yes.
I mean, I was telling Trey, I was like, look, I'm just gonna get a tarp to put the couches on because I don't want like the grass to be wet, or I don't want them to
Yeah.
get dirty. And like when we're not using them, they're inflatable, so they'll be easy to store. We can
Yeah.
rent them out on weekends or for parties if we want to make a little money. And like I've got like this whole like thing just flowing in my head, and it
Yeah.
came from scrolling on Facebook, but like
Mm.
I knew in that moment, like I could see myself with like the popcorn buckets and the fairy
Mm.
lights like
Yeah.
going around my yard. Like I am ready,
Yeah.
but and that excites me, but that's like the one thing, that
Mhm.
I think I have going for myself creatively that does not relate to being a mother. The first thought
Yeah.
was not like, oh, I'm gonna get the kids out here. We're gonna watch,
Right.
a Disney movie. Like, no, this was grown. When I saw the picture, I said, "Oh, we
Yeah.
gonna have some fun with
Yeah.
some other adults,
Yeah.
in this scene, and then we'll invite the kids. Then we'll have a kid movie night.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
first, I'm gonna do this for us." And so, yeah, I think that it has helped me. It
Yeah.
has. It's made it easier.
I love that. It really fueled your channels to stay open, and you're
Mm-hmm.
expanding the creative vision beyond the children now.
Yep.
Okay. I
Yep.
like that.
But I don't want to dismiss again. There's windows of opportunity, right?
Mhm.
Like we can be. I have been stifled in my
Mm.
creativity before. I'm just now feeling it, and I think there's probably, a lot of moms who are there, who have been there, who
Mhm.
can definitely relate that like the demands of motherhood, they sure have a way to smother
Uh-huh. Yes.
smother, our creative juices. So,
For sure. So what do we do with that, Danielle? What are we supposed to do?
okay, I mean, what we always do, right? we gonna talk it out.
Mhm.
How do we reclaim our
Mhm.
creativity?
Mhm.
Because I don't believe that just because we're moms, we have to lose those creative parts of ourselves. But I do think we have to be intentional about nurturing them. And
Mm.
so that even, to the point that I just spoke to, like I
Mhm.
saw the inspiration. There's so many times where I've looked at it and I've just been like, oh,
Mhm.
that's nice. Like, I wish I could do something like that.
Mhm.
No, the truth is I can't. I
Mhm.
saved the picture. I sent it to some friends. I put some stuff in my Amazon cart. Like, what?
Right.
I can do this.
Right.
So, it's
Right.
it's the just being intentional.
Mhm. Right. And then going beyond the intention and taking action, right? So
Yes.
that's so true. And I think maybe a piece of that is giving ourselves permission. So that again, to
Mm,
your example of like giving yourself the permission that like, this is for me and my friends first. And like
yep.
this is what Danielle wants to do. This is a fun thing for me. So right, so giving ourselves the permission to create without pressure that it has to
Yeah.
be something, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be this productive thing, but you can like the permission to have fun for yourself,
Yep.
right? So it doesn't have to be something um even it can be a high side hustle, but maybe it doesn't have to be, right? Like let's experience it. So even just engaging with the idea and then letting it
Hmm.
flourish and the accountability of sending it out to friends, so that okay, somebody is gonna ask me about this and I'm gonna keep
Right.
it I'm gonna
Right.
keep it going. That's it has
And
to
you know
be
what's
something like that.
it's so funny because for you to say like, it doesn't have to be a side hustle. Oftentimes like we'll sit around and have conversations like, how do we generate another stream of income, or what do we
Yeah.
do, blah blah blah, and we can get stuck there and we're like, it
Mhm.
just feels like everything is taken. But then
Yes.
I finally decide like, no, I want to do this for myself. I'm not going to feel guilty about purchasing this equipment because the
Yes.
kids do what they want to do, you know what I mean?
Right.
And but then as soon as I made that decision, it was just like, oh, but when I'm not using it, like there's a ton of families in the area who have great yards who probably don't want to invest in this stuff. And then
Right.
all of a sudden now I can. Now I have like a summer, I don't care if I make $200 a week off of it. It's
Right.
$200 more than I had.
Right.
And I've already paid for the stuff and I'm not going to use it every day. So it's just like once we get out of or once we give ourselves permission, it's just amazing how like, things like flow
Mhm.
and just kind of like start to
Yes.
add up. And now it's when I do have a side. I wasn't looking for a side hustle.
Right,
I was looking for
right.
some fun. I was just being
Right.
creative, but now I have one.
Yeah,
So,
because you can get past the vision now, right? It's like, "Oh, this
hmm,
great thing," but then we stuck in how that looks and how to market that. No, you do it first. It's
yeah,
about you first, and then that what will pour out of that could be
yeah,
something in that little extra pocket. So I like that. Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's funny because again, this was also fast. Like if you if you look at like timestamps on like when I saw the picture, when I sent the text message, when I added it to my Amazon cart, like
Yeah.
it was quick. It
Yeah.
was quick. And
Yeah.
I used to think, like if I didn't have hours to devote to
Mm.
something, like that's me. I'm a planner. I need to know
Mhm.
every detail. But like if I didn't have the time, it wasn't worth doing it because
Mhm.
I knew, my expectations were
Yeah.
too high probably.
Mm.
But I've just learned that like creativity
Mhm.
can happen, in the in between moments, which
Yes.
is nice. Which
Yeah.
goes back to, like giving yourself permission, but like make it a part of daily life,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think that's been, I want to say been a game changer for me, but like
Mhm.
it's only been a few days. So like I'm looking forward to, just implementing that more.
Yeah.
Um, and instead of waiting for blocks of time, because where are we going to get that from?
Exactly.
Like it's not going to happen. Chase quit karate this week, martial arts. He was like,
Mm.
I don't want to do it. I want to do something more creative, is what he said.
Wow.
What? That's crazy. He wants to do something more creative. And I was like, okay, like what? He's already got 3 or 4 new activities he wants to sign up for. So here I am, like, oh, I just got 3 hours of time back during the
Yeah.
week. No, I didn't. He's
No.
already filled them with something.
Yeah.
So it's like we can't sit around and wait
Mm.
because, you know, life is gonna go on. So
Yeah.
find the in-between moments, write it down, jot it down. Do record a voice memo while
Yes.
driving. Get it out your head, right? So
Yes.
you don't forget because God knows the next thing is going to come and then it's just like I had this great idea, but I don't remember what it was.
Right.
And now all you're left with is the feeling
Right.
and trying to retrace it. But yeah, so that's what
Yes.
I got for you.
Okay, though. I like that, right? That it doesn't have to be this big block of thing. And so for me, a good example is that it's taking what however much time it's taken for me to write this book.
Hmm.
And the inspiration came in a shower 3 years ago now. Got out the
Mm.
shower, wrote the whole thing out. Whole outline of
Mm.
a book. And it's been years of pouring into it up at night when the kids are asleep and doing different things in between sessions when I
Yeah.
I want to be taking a nap or I want to be cooking, I want to be doing something else. Like, no, I need to spend some time. It's been times where they're in here and I'm like, hey man, to their dad, like you got to play with them because I got some thoughts and I need to get them out. I need to do it.
Yes.
So I've kind of had to take some grace, give myself some grace in that this book is going to take however long it needs to take. Um, but I can appreciate every moment when I stop and say, I'm feeling inspired. I'm doing the thing now.
Yeah.
And even if it's just, making a mental note or my phone is full of notes, I'm just making notes and then I'll expand it into the book. But that's my one example of it can be let things take the time that they need to take. And
Hmm.
not everything's gonna be as big as writing a book. But it doesn't matter. Time is infinite when you need to take care of yourself and do things that are,
Yeah.
creativity is something that counters depression, can counter
Mm.
anxiety, it can counter stagnation. And so if we're
Yeah.
feeling stagnant in ways, it's like our second motto I think is just do it. Like
Yeah.
do it anyway, to break yourselves out of that. So to our listeners, right, if you're in a funk or you're like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know where to start small. If you want to make a change in your home, stuff like that where
Hmm.
um and if you don't feel like you have enough inspiration, I'll add that, finding a creative community can be a game changer as well. Like following along with other people who are doing what you want to do and taking that as
Hmm.
inspiration and not letting envy crowd your mind. So for me,
Yeah.
again, a good example of that is doing the breath work that I do. I met a lot of wonderful people when I did that training, and I follow a few of them, and I feel so inspired when I see them doing the breath work and hosting groups and doing retreats and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be me before I'm 40. I'm gonna be out here on Instagram. Meta life is gonna be out here hosting retreats in Bali, doing breathwork, exercises with people in breathwork circles. It's not right now. Right now, right now I'm doing breathwork with my clients. So the context is quite different, but I feel I allow other people's creativity to inspire me when I can't access it from myself and there's
Hmm.
no access point and it doesn't feel like there's an access point in my life, I can get on social media and look at my community of people and feel their creativity and allow it to inspire me. So we can't say we don't
Yeah.
have any access. There's some, like we were talking about Pinterest. I can get on Pinterest and create a board. I can get on Amazon and put a whole bunch of stuff in my cart and let that feel like a creative adventure. And that might be all that it was, or like getting your nails done or trying a new hairstyle. There's so many ways
Hmm.
to do that, but I think finding a community, one friend or a group of friends like you did, sharing it with your girlfriends out in Atlanta, or joining a
Yeah.
Facebook group, right? My sister loves the Target. Target is a little iffy, but before Target did what Target did, before the world got all upset, there are Black women who shop at Target. That group's very intense for me, but I'm watching it and I'm like, these women really love this, like the community that it creates, and they get so creative and
Yeah.
with their outfits, and I just love that just shopping at a store created a community, and I think we're really good at that as women. So anywhere you can get accountability and encouragement can help so much. So sometimes just talking about it too can reignite that spark. So, like I said, looking at other people, be creative, take it as inspiration and not something to
Hmm.
judge yourself for not having.
Right. Yep. And There you go.
Yeah.
Tapping into my point. I was like, oh, I got a good one, and then
Yeah.
you led right up to the front door, like hello.
Knock
But
knock.
yes, so right, it's the mom guilt, right? We have to
Yes.
let it go, like forget about it. Like
Yes.
that is not important at all.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Like our creativity isn't selfish. It doesn't have to feel selfish. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
to look at it like it's selfish. I don't think anybody, I don't, as a mother, I don't think I would look at another mother and feel that way. And I think it does go
Mm-hmm.
back to, it's funny because like now we're seeing like these episodes kind of build on each other, right? But
Yeah.
you're talking about community and support. We did a whole episode on how to build that. So if
Yep.
you need, ideas or anything more than what we kind of just brought up here, but like, yeah, that's huge. But we did an episode
Mm-hmm.
on the mom guilt, right? Like we
Yes.
talked about this.
Yes.
But give yourself the space to
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would never look at another mother and just even knowing that the mothers around me, I'm like, they would appreciate this. I know they
Yeah.
would. But it's easy because I'm in
Mm-hmm.
the right place. I got the right
Right.
circle around me.
Yes.
Like that, if I was a little more hesitant or someplace where it could have been stifled, right? Where like I'm all
Mm-hmm.
excited, but like my circle isn't like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
share it with them. So now I don't have anybody to share it with, so it dies with me. Like, no,
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah, that
Um,
like-minded community. It's important to
yes,
first know that failure isn't necessarily in the idea, but maybe you need the right community. You need like-minded
yeah.
individuals. Yep.
Yep, yep. And so, just I think the more we tap into our creativity, it
Mhm.
will allow us to show up more fully for ourselves, for our
Yes.
families, for friends and groups, all of that,
Yeah.
and just be happier, more patient, more present, because in those
Yes.
moments we are doing things like you said. Listen,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't feel like being creative
Yes.
and I don't have a choice because it's there are little feelings on the line. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
And that is tough. That is
Yes.
tough. But I think if I'm doing it also for myself, it makes you
Right.
appreciate the moments, where you have to do
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Because, now I'm pouring back into my cup. Like, okay, I got a little
Yeah.
bit to give because, baby, you don't know that I'm like bubbling over
Yeah.
right now with this excitement. But,
Yes. Right, because you have something and you have something to share when you're pouring into yourself and your kids see that, Robert will always ask me
hmm
like, "Mommy, what you doing?" Or I'm really inspired by Sydney because she's an amazing drawer and even getting ready for my vacation and I was so excited and she was in her room and she was making some bracelets or something. The bracelet was too small. I said, "No, Sydney, you know what? Make me an anklet." And I'm gonna wear it on vacation. And so, although the
Oh.
vacation is for me, right? That had nothing to do with the kids, but it was a special way to bring her in, and she made me too. And I wear them every day. And I was like,
Oh.
they made it through the ocean, through all the foolishness I was doing out there, and it was so cute. We were picking colors, and she was like doing the patterns. And Robert gave me his little thing he made, a little necklace he made at school. I'm like, I'm gonna wear that. So if y'all follow me on social media, you see some of them pictures I got on a bead necklace. Don't worry about that. That's a Robert special. Um, but me tapping into the excitement and to me getting dressed and putting things together for vacation was my
hmm
creative outlet these past couple of weeks, but to then be able to rope Sydney in some form or fashion, that
Right.
was very special to me. So sometimes when they see you enjoying your life, they then can come into that, or you're teaching them something that is low stakes, right? Like it's not a big scoop out of your cup. We're
Yeah.
side by side pouring into each other and it doesn't take a lot. And those are the really special moments where, it doesn't have to be this planned out thing. It was something she was doing on her own. I actually invited myself into her creativity. And so, it's like you said, it's that idea of doing for yourself to make it a bit easier to show up and be present. And that was a great example of that. Because a lot of times she will
Yeah.
be in her room just doing her own thing, which she chooses.
hmm
But the minute I was like, wait a minute, wasn't like, oh, that's cute. I'll wear it later when I come back. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think I could wear this on vacation. And it became a whole thing and it was really special. So, and
Yeah.
that,
And I know it meant a lot to them.
oh yes. Oh girl, yes. Robert was like, here, mommy. Okay, thank you, son. I luckily I had a swimsuit that actually matched all the colors that was in that necklace. So I did wear it. And her anklets that she made ended up matching just about every outfit I had. So I was like, okay, this was divine alignment, divine
All
intervention.
worked out.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
beauty of that, and felt connected. And I hope she will see that in the future. That I'm connected. I'm tapped into her creativity, whatever that looks like. Even if I feel busy, I'm tapped in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, that conversation, that little nugget right there just makes me think, if anyone's listening right now, I want y'all to maybe sit and think, when was the last time you did something creative just for you? And what's one small step you can take this week to bring more creativity into your life? Like we said, we've taken out little things. It could be small things, right? It doesn't have to be anything special. If you're planning a vacation or you have some things down the pipeline, hop on Pinterest, hop on Etsy, do what you need to do. You will love this. I made us some care packages for vacation. I
No,
did. I did the
no,
bag.
I would love that. Yes.
Yes, I did the cup. We did the shirts. I did the like hangover kit. I did
Oh,
everything. My new nickname is Mama J because they're like, you just thought of everything.
yes,
And that was my
girl.
creative outlet. Like, I'm not going to do a whole big project, but my anxiety of needing to have everything on vacation, I was
Hmm.
able to stream that into something fun and cutesy for
Yep.
us. And it worked
And
out
for everyone, so
perfectly.
nobody had to take your stuff because, well, why didn't you
Yes.
think to
Why didn't
pack
you
this?
think? Yes.
That's what I be thinking about. Like, so you didn't pack Tylenol? You didn't think you
Yes.
was gonna need, some
Them
Tums or some
ankles.
some chapstick, some,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. Yes. I told my girlfriend, I
But
said,
yeah.
Here goes some sanitizer because y'all like to play with these beach animals. People walking up and down trying to get you to pet a lizard. There's
Hmm.
sanitizer in your packet.
Yes. No, I love that. That's such a great way to channel creativity. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yep.
Oh, you made my day with
I
that
knew
one.
you would appreciate that. It's structured, it's organized, and it's creative and fun.
You don't know that I do that for almost every trip I go on. Like, I cannot help myself, whether
Yes.
it's like something to get us through the flight, like we got
Yep.
donuts and snacks and shots and whatever, like
Yep.
we're gonna have something from
Something
Danielle that she has
fun.
planned. Yep,
Girl, yes. I
something.
think I was channeling you. I got our shot glasses with all the husbands' faces on them. So they were
I
with the
saw those.
yeah.
That is so cute.
Yes. Girl, I had
You're
to
a good
do
one because I'd
something.
have left them at home.
Girl, I had to do something with that anxious energy. I'm like, ooh, this
Yeah,
stifled kind of winter funk that sparked something. So I'm kind of thinking like a winter vacation is necessary to spark some creativity
yeah,
and clear the energy. Yeah.
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 Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's wrap this up.
All
We
right.
we got we had a great conversation. I think,
Yes.
some key takeaways
Mhm.
that if we can just outline it.
Yeah.
One, creativity does not disappear in motherhood. It
Yeah.
just looks different.
Absolutely. It looks
Simple.
different.
Just
Simple.
looks different. So don't go looking, for what you had. Just
Mhm.
accept what it is
Yes.
right now, today, going forward. And number two,
Mhm.
give yourself permission to create without pressure or guilt.
Yes. Yes. Just do the thing. Permission to just do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Three, find
Mhm.
small ways to infuse creativity into your daily life. It
Absolutely.
doesn't have to be big, but get it out of your mind,
Yes.
off your brain, out your head,
Yeah.
in a note, on paper, to a friend, to an accountability
Mhm.
partner, whatever that looks, or
Mhm.
just do it. I mean, if it's small enough, just do it,
Just
right?
do it. Wear that colorful shirt. Do some.
Yes.
Yeah. Wash them windows. Some.
And number four, surround yourself with a community that encourages your creative side. I think that's huge.
Yes.
It's going to make it easier, it's going to feel natural, and it's going to bring you some extra joy. to share
Absolutely.
that, because that's, I mean, who doesn't want to share a passion with
Right.
someone else who would appreciate it,
Right.
right?
Get you some like-minded folks in your atmosphere, whether they're close friends or social media groups, right? Or people follow some
Yes.
pages that inspire you to open up your channels of creativity. Yeah.
Hmm. And number five,
Mhm.
remember that creativity is self-care. It's not selfish,
Nope.
it's necessary
Yes.
in motherhood.
Oh yeah.
In mo-
Yeah. In all
Yes.
ways, it is necessary. Like I said before, if you are challenged with depressive thoughts, anxious thoughts, um, any kind of disordered thinking, if you want to call it that, or feelings, big feelings that you don't know what to do with, one thing that you can do is find a creative outlet. Use your
Yeah.
body to express what is inside of you in any form or fashion. It is necessary to feel good.
Hmm.
All right, so let's see if we got a challenge. We got a challenge for them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So here's our challenge for you this week. Pick one creative thing you love and make space for it, even if it's just 5 minutes. If it's a thought, if it's following a page on Instagram, if it's an action, intention, whatever it is, pick it and try it. Make space for it first. And if you can try it, try it. Whether you're writing, you're painting, you're singing, you're baking, taking pictures, making a collage on Pinterest. Hey, maybe you
Hmm.
haven't been on the beach and don't have access to a beach, but you could look at one and see the beauty in it and find some creativity there. So whatever makes your soul light up, find that and engage with it in any way possible.
Yes. And if you do, come back and engage
Yes.
with us.
Yeah.
We want to hear about it. So tag us on social media, share what you created, and let's inspire each other.
Yes. And y'all know it's coming. If you love this episode, please like, follow, share, subscribe, do all the social media things.
Yes.
It helps us grow this community of mamas supporting mamas and the people that love mamas. We got it. We got it for everybody. Get a little bit. Everybody needs to hear about creativity.
Yes, and just thank you, again for
Yeah.
being here with us, for sharing the space with us, and for showing up for yourself. And
Hmm.
like we always say, come
Yes.
as you are,
Take what you need.
take
Yeah.
what you need.
Until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and being the amazing person that you are.
We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.